So, good
Uh,
evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
And we are about to start this class. And you are welcome, Abigail. You are welcome, Savior. You are welcome, Israel. So, Israel will be our instructor for today. And we are going to start this class at 8 o'clock. So, let everyone be silent, please. At 8 o'clock, we are going to commence the class. So, Israel, Mountains, please, you can start sharing your screen so that you can start the teaching. Okay? Can you hear me, Israel? Israel Mountains, you can start. Savior, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, Israel, can you start? Hello, Israel. Can you start this class? Okay, Savior. Savior.
Sir?
I guess Mountains is not speaking. I think you can. Okay. He's trying to share screen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, we
yes, I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so today we'll be talking about dictionaries, what dictionaries are, and we'll be talking about if before I introduce myself, my name is Martin Israel. I'll be taking you guys
Okay,
dictionary.
Israel, Israel Mountains, we are supposed to start from sect before
Okay.
tuple and dictionary, okay? We are supposed to start from sect,
Okay, set.
yes, sect before tuple, okay?
Okay, then you're moving to tuple and dictionaries.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we are talking about sets, tuples, and dictionaries, what they are and what they are used for. So I start by sets. So what is a set? So a set are used to store multiple items in a single variable. In a single variable, set is one of the four built-in data type in Python, used to store collection of data The other three are lists, as we can see, list, tuple, and dictionaries, all with different quantities and usage. So as you can see, sets can be in two type of form or three multiple type of form, which is unordered, unchangeable, and unindexed. Then we are seeing something like notes. Set item are unchangeable. So please take note. Sets are unchangeable. They cannot change in form when you use them. They are unchangeable. But you
Okay,
can remove items and add new item to a set.
Wait.
Israel,
Somebody's
please,
hand is up.
want to speak.
Hello.
Abigail want to speak. Abigail, you can speak.
Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt you, sir. Instructor Savior, please, Instructor Israel, sir. Please, sir, can you what's it called now? Expand your screen a bit, sir. It's quite.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yeah, I can see it. Just zoom in a bit.
Okay, can you see this now?
Yeah, a lot
Okay,
more
you can
better.
see it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So like I started, I say sets are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Like it must have taught you guys what are variables in Python, how to declare variables. So they are used to store what? Multiple items, many items. Item can be like, maybe we are storing things like, since it's teaching you guys data analysis, let's use real world examples. We are storing things like the list of employees in the company. So we can store thousands of employees' name. You can decide to store their name, their first name, full name, and others. So we can store a lot of data in that set, multiple data. But if you notice, like we can see, notes is telling you notes, be conscious. Sets are unchangeable. They don't change in state. Like the word unchangeable, when you use something, you can't change them again. They just remain the way you give them. It can never change. So take note, sets are unchangeable, but there's a but you can remove an item inside and you can add a new item. You can add items to them to a set and you can also remove an item to a set. So let's look at an example of how to work with sets here. Let me zoom the screen. First of all, you declare what? You declare your variable. He must have taught you guys how to declare a variable. First of all, you must declare a variable. We can call the variable anything. We can call it list of items. So this is a variable. You can call it a list, or we can call it employees. In short form, I'll use EMP as employee. Then you say equal to what? So now you're trying to say your set. You understand what your sets are? You use what is called the curly braces in Python. This is your curly braces to declare the list of items, the collections of items from those individuals. So remember, those items can be so many things. It can be we can store so many items on it. We can store books, list of books, employee employee age. We can store so many things. So using your what do we call it? Using your sets, using your curly braces allow us to impute, to store those value inside. So if you have any question before I proceed here, so this you use when you say you're equal to now, the value, what value are we storing? Before we store those value, we need to use what? Our curly braces. We must have taught you curly braces. So now in your curly braces, you are calling the function. Now we are storing employees what? List of employees, their names. So when you are storing the employees' names, you have to use what? Your string. This is your string. It must have taught you about string. You need to use your string and store the employee. You can call the first name. We can just say name, the first name. I can call it my name, Martins. Then you follow by a comma to write the second name, and you can say Israel. This is a new name. Israel, another employee called Israel, and another employee called, we can call him Daniel. Yeah, let's leave 3 employees for now. So now to print this employee now, to tell the system that this employee, call this variable employee which you have given EMP, you use the normal word print, you print your word EMP. So when we run, we should get the list of employees. Unexpected indentation. So it doesn't use indentation. Let me see. Let me just use an online. Oh, okay. I see the faults now. So it prints out the list of employees, which is Martins, Daniel, and Israel on your screen. So what happened before? In Python, because it's a high-level language, it works with indentation. I left a space here, which I did not observe because of the black screen. So I had to clean the space and make sure everything starts from the beginning. So that's how Python works. So this is how to declare your set. So let's move on. Sets are unordered list. So you cannot be sure in which order the item will appear. So we have unordered and ordered lists. So what are unordered and ordered lists? Let me quickly explain it to you. An ordered list, as the word apply, ordered list, meaning something is in order like A, B, C, D, E, F, G to Z. Those are ordered lists, meaning it's starting from an order. Like you understand, like your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are ordered lists. A list that starts from the beginning to the end in a order form. Then unordered list, when you hear the word unordered list, it's a scattered list. That means it's starting from 0, 20, 10, 5, 2. It's just scattered. Instead of it to start from 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's starting from 10, 8, 5, 6, 1, 0. So those are unordered lists. So as we can see here, we say sets are unordered. That means they are scattered lists. You understand? So when we are working with a set value in your data set or in your data science, and you use sets, they will be scattered. Those values will be scattered. Or if your instructor, Mr. Moses, has given you a data set to work with, which is a set type of data, and that type of set, we should know that that set is unordered. That means that set is scattered. It's for you to find how you are going to arrange those unordered lists. And remember, it's unchangeable and do not allow duplicate values. So let's check what this means. So yeah, we started with what? We gave the first employee what? Martins, right? Then second employee name is what? Israel, right? Then the third employee is what? Daniel, right? So now when we printed this at the screen, look at what it's showing. It's showing Israel as the first name, as the first employee. Then the second employee is showing what? Is showing Martins. Then the third employee is showing what? Daniel. It's not supposed to happen that way. It's because normally the set is just programmed to be an unordered list. So it scattered the full list. That's why we're having Israel as the first name, Martins as the second name, Daniel as the third name. So whenever it gives you something like a set to work with, know that that set will be in an unordered form. So I think we are done with this. Unordered means that the item in a set which we explained, do not have a defined order, but I've broken it down to a more simple term. So now let's go to unchangeable. What they mean by this kind of set is unchangeable. So when they mean set item are unchangeable, what does it mean? Like I told you before, I say meaning it will never change in state. Take note, very important. When you are working with that data set and you see this type of set, run from it. Don't run from it. I'm joking, Shao. You, as a data analyst, you need to learn from Mr. Moses. Then he'll teach you how. He will teach you how to work with it because that's really the work of the data analysis. You will work with terrible data. I mean, terrible scattered data. That's the work. You work with scattered data. So take note, they are unchangeable, meaning cannot change the item after the set has been created. So imagine they give you sets. Why me? Sometimes why I really run from sets is because when I see some sets in data analysis work, sometimes why I run me myself because sometimes those data might not, some of the data might not be correct, and you need to either fill it or you drop them. So imagine those data are not correct. Oh boy, how do you fill it?
So
So
what's wrong?
so it will give you a lot of headache. So
Yeah.
once a set is created, you cannot change see it, you cannot change its item, but you can remove item and add new item to it. So we can also add new item to it, but mhm. duplicates duplicates not allowed. Sets cannot have two item with the same value. So let's test this. Which this their code. But me, I would like, okay, it declared Apple. So let's use employee here. So it says sets. If we read here, it says sets cannot have two items with the same value. So now let's add another employee now. Let's say I'm not the only Martins in that company. We now have another Martins. Martins. We now have another Martins, the same name. Oh. I click on run. Let's see what it's telling us. So it's bringing out only the first Martins, Daniel, and what on Israel. It's skipping this Martins. That means this Martins is already in trouble. This Martins was not employed. That's what it's saying. If you see, that's why I said I used to run from sets. It's just the normal thing, but don't run from sets. So Martins now, yeah, skip this Martins employee. Let me add another Martins again. Let's see, because only Martins cannot be in the company. There might be thousands of Martins. So if I put another Martins again, at all, those three Martins they have gone. One, two, three. These three employees now, bam, bam, we don't even know them at all. So sets cannot accept duplicate values. These are the values, the employees there.
Israel, please. Israel, please wait. Mr. Moses want to say something.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Israel, please always watch the stickers. Always watch the stickers so that when someone wants to ask question, you can get
Oh,
this.
okay.
Okay, and also sect. I want to throw more light on sect.
Okay.
Abigail, sect can be used for security purpose, and okay, for authentication, you can also use sect. I believe you understand what I'm explaining, Abigail. I want to hear from you.
Yes, sir, I can follow you, sir. I'm following, sir.
Okay. Now, for example, we want to get our staff. Like we have a company and we want to know our staff. Then every staff must have their identity numbers. So when someone come, a new identity number will be given to the staff. So when you use sect to organize the identity numbers of the staff, no identity number will be uh, duplicated or having duplicate. Everybody with his own uh, number, right? I
Exactly.
believe I believe you understand.
Yes, sir.
Good. So, Israel Martins, you can continue, okay?
Yeah. So as you said, sets for security purpose, yes, very correct. You can use sets to store and to save authenticated stuff. Something that you never want to change. And which he has highlighted that yes, you will never want to change. Maybe let's say we have people that monitor the security system, the camera system in that organization. their name will never change unless we want to just remove them and what add a new employee in that field or in that particular field, because all those security people, their work are very crucial to the organization. So okay, back to sets. As we say, we cannot duplicate. Duplicates not allowed. Okay, we are done with that. Then true, blah blah blah. Okay, this we don't really need this. Okay. Okay, also we can use the keyword or the method as we call it, or function called len, len. Len function will tell us the amount of employee in this employee variable. So we can use what? The len function. It can also be a method. Then with inside the function, it will have your, like how you create your function. This is your function, right? Len, followed by what? Your opening and closing bracket. So we are going to place it inside our what? Print statement to check the amount of employee length. So you are opening your opening bracket and closing it. So length now is taking what? This value, this variable called employee, emp. So when we say emp and we run, we'll get the amount of employee. So it's loading. So we got 3 employees. As you can see, 1, 2, 3. It does not recognize these 2 Martins. We know why it does not recognize it. So we have gotten 3 employees. So length function or method can be used to get the amount of employee. So okay. So in your values also, the values can also take, I'm sure you have taught you data type by now. So it can also take a data type. We can also say employee, the equal to, we can also take numbers, that's integer 1, integer 2, integer 3, integer 4, and the rest. So it can also it can take number also by default without using string. So if we print what? Employee 1, so we just call this employee 1 and we say print employee 1. When we run, we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Chase it. But if you observe now, 1, 2, 3, 4 by default is bringing an ordered list. So set by default, set chooses what it's like. So sometimes it might change it by default and start with 2, 3, 4 to 1. Let me check the question stuff. Okay. Okay, we can also check the type of thing we are using, if it's a set, if it's a class, or if it's an object. To check it, we use what? The type function was inside the print statement, and we say type, open your bracket and close it. Then we call what? The employee, emp, or the set. It will show us, when we do this, it will show us, it will say this is a class of what? Of set. So we can know what type of data type or value they've given to us here. What type? So we are saying the type. What type of, for example, as the data analyst, maybe Moses has given you this type of data to work with. So to check what type of data that is, you can say type, which you use. You can say your type. Type is what? We can call it my set. You can call it my, you can call it anything, since you know variables now. So we can call it my, and when we run, it will tell us what type of set we're working with. So it's loading. So it's telling us this is a class of what? A set. So quickly, let's go to how to add and remove a set also. Okay, constructors. The set constructor, it is also possible to use the set constructor to make a set. Constructor, we have been hearing constructor. Constructor, what are constructors? Can anyone? He must have taught you constructors. Can anyone try? What are constructors?
Israel Martins, please. Instructor Israel Martins, please. We have not talked about
Oh, constructor. Okay, so I
yeah.
can skip that. Okay.
No, you can introduce it to her.
Introduce,
Joe.
explain it.
Okay.
You can introduce.
Okay. Constructors are really wide though, so I will not really go too deep on it. What constructors do? Constructors, they are like taking, as you hear the word, let me use a normal real life example. As you hear the word construction company, all those companies, they have the specific duties. We have Central Co, right? We have many construction company. So everybody with their own type of constructor. So this constructor, when you create the constructor, you call it by what? Using the set function. Then in that your set function, you put in what? You put in the values inside. So that constructor, why mostly people use constructors when you are dealing with those backend like your SQL, those constructors, you call them. You can create a lot of constructors of many items, constructors of road, constructors of this. So you can be able to call those constructors. That's why we always put sets in constructors. So we can be able to, it's like arranging your work, you understand, to make it look very professional. Other people can be able to use it and you can work around your code. So that's mostly what constructors are. Then you say Python collections. What are Python collections? Like he said, there are 4 collections data type in Python programming. We have the first one, the list. List is a collection which is ordered and changeable, allow duplicate members. So list is a collection which is ordered and changeable. So list, take notes, list is ordered and changeable. So what are example of list? Let me quickly show you what example of list are. Let me say in that employee, we say employee is equal to what? So a list, I thought it must have teach you guys arrays. So arrays are like your list too. So these are what lists are. Like we can say Israel, right? And we can call. So these are what lists are. So it's no, you don't need to think too much about it. So this is how lists work. So they take note, they say lists are changeable. So these are lists that are like your arrays. So list is a collection which is ordered and changeable. So you can change this guy. Sorry for the screen. So you can change this guy to anything. You can work with this. So then also we have tuple and set, but I'll just explain what these are. But we're talking about sets now. We've not gotten to tuple. So what tuple is? Tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. Remember when we talk about unordered and ordered. So tuple, they are always straight. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same way you give them that data, that's the same way you are collecting the data. So they don't change, they are not scattered. So set, as we see, set is a collection which is unordered and unchangeable. So sets, they can change. Like we see, and sets, they are scattered, which we did example of sets, and we see that the set names were scattering. So the same thing, tuple too. Tuple, they are ordered, but and the same feature, they are unchangeable. You can't change them. So we also have what is called dictionaries. Dictionary is a collection which is ordered and what changeable. This is why I love using dictionaries. Those two I prefer them because when you give your dictionary, it will give you the same thing which you have the same value which you have imputed, and you can change them. You can fill those data. You can drop data. The same thing happen with list. You can also they are in ordered list and unchangeable and changeable. Sorry. So you can now choose from these two or any of them which is preferable for you to work with. So now, how to access set items quickly. To set to access your items, access item, you cannot access item in a set by referring to an index or a key. Take note, you cannot access item in a set by referring to an index or a key, but you can loop through the set item using a for loop. Using a for loop, or ask if a specified value is present in a set by using in keyword. Sorry, I want to ask a question. Has he taught you guys for loop so I can know what and what to do? Trying to get my screen. Sorry, Instructor Moses, have you taught them for loop?
Yes, they understand the concept of for loop. Okay.
Okay, so I can proceed.
Yes.
You can proceed. You can proceed.
Okay. So he has taught you for loop. So as we see now, he say to access item, you cannot access item in a set. Remember, by referencing to an index or a key. So now what is a key? Let me explain what keys are. I'm not sure they explained what really keys are here. Yeah, so let me explain what they mean by key. So let's open this program. So when they mean by key, they say you cannot access what? Set item by referencing to index or key. So what they mean by key is this, guys. The value inside here. Those are the key. I cannot say apple, print apple. Lie, it will never work. I cannot say apple. This is a string, it will print apple, but I cannot call apple this key here and say run. I will have an error. Sit, the name is not defined. Do you mean tuple? It's asking the question because these guys, we can call these guys key and also a value. But when it becomes a key is when we put in our semicolon and we give it a different, another value here. That's becomes a key, but we can use this as a value and a key. So you cannot access a key. Like key, as you know, key, nothing big. You don't need to think too much about it. It's like your door, trying to open your door, trying to open this full guy. You cannot go and call Apple inside. So that's what actually they mean. So to talk about this for loop, which they use to access the value, which they say you cannot access the item in a set by referring to what? The index or key. But you can loop through. As you already know through loop, you can loop through the set item using what? A for loop, or ask if a specified value is present in the set. So in our employees, yeah, let me just quickly, let's work, since we're working with our employee. In our employee, remember when we called the name, we can call any name here and say the employees. And let's say Sherry. So now we want to print what? We want to call the keys or the values, which we did here. We say you cannot access this, but you can loop through. So to loop through now, we use what? The for loop, which you are already aware of. Then we use in. I will explain it to you. So here, what the for is doing is saying for x. So it's created a variable here, not this variable. Take note. So we are saying for what? For x, we give it a variable. We can say for name in where? In this data set, in this set. Followed by what? Your semicolon, you already know how to do. Then your indentation. Then print what? X. So we are going to be working with that. So we say for name, we give it a variable name. For name in where? In employee. This is our employee value, right? Sometimes you will see data set. Okay, let me call it data set. Data set. So for employee in where? For employee in data sets, you already know how to put your double column or this semicolon. Then you need to give your indentation. Sometimes I count 1, 2 to get your indentation right. Then say print what? So what are we printing now? We are going to be printing what? This name, because we gave a variable for name in where? This is the major thing. In employee data sets. So it's coming from this guy. So now if we print name and we click on run, we should get all the item looped out. So we got Sherry, Moses, and what? Martins. So remember, sets, they are on ordered list. So it's now the thing started from the backward. Sherry, Moses, and Martins. So this is how to work, how to loop out your data in set. Okay. Okay. Also, you can also check if a employee is not in that place. We can also check if a employee is not in that place. So what do we use? We can say not in. I'm sure he must have taught you since it works through for loop. So we are calling what? Employee. So how to do this now? Imagine our employee name was here. Okay, let me change this and put what? Martins. So for what? Now we print. We say we are printing and we are saying what? We are calling Martins. We say Martins not in where? This set, right? Yeah, we call it EMP. So you can change it for EMP, not in EMP. So we are checking, is that employee, is Martin's name in EMP? Is Martin's an employee? So it will check now. You say false. So it's telling you not in employee. So it's a false statement. So you are saying not in employee. So it's a false. So once a set is created, you cannot change its item, but you can add new item to it. Always take notes, remember that part. So I move by accessing set item. How to access a set item. Once a set is created, you cannot change its item, but you can add new value. Still remember, they are trying to remember us that always take notes. Once it's created, you cannot change its item, but you can add new item. To add one item to a set, we use what? The add method. So don't be confused by this method or function. It can also be called function. We can use the add method. Why they always call it method is that it's inbuilt. It will never. It's what Python created. This add is what Python created to add something by default. It's coming from Python. So now to add an item, now we want to add employee, right, to our employees.
Okay,
So to
Mr. Martins, please, a minute. I want to explain a method and a function, okay? Abigail.
Sir, I can hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, a method is attached using the dot to a variable, while a function stands on its own. I want you to focus on this dixset dot add. Did you see it is being attached using the dot? And if you see the print it stands on its own. This print is a function because it stands on its own. When you attach the dot to a variable, it becomes a method. I hope you understand.
Okay, sir. When you add a dot to a variable,
Yes.
it becomes a method. Sir, did you say a method?
Yes, a method.
Okay, sir.
And I'm using this code as an example. Look at the print. The print stands on its own.
Yes, sir.
And collects this variable. Now, if you see see the this set dot add. Did you see that it's been attached to the variable? So this is the difference. Thank you. And Isramatis, you can continue.
Okay. So as he has explained to you what that is, so remember to take notes. When we started this at how to add sets, they're always telling you can never change, you cannot change its item. You cannot change its item, but you can add what? New item. There's a reason they are telling you, because when you start using it, if you start using it in like your database, you start you dealing with MySQL, other database, and you start by mistakenly use this set. Remember, you cannot change its value, but you can only add. That's what they are telling you. So anything that goes to your backend, to your database, now you can't know, you can only add. You cannot what? Change the variable. If any employee now, a name was mistakenly spelt like this, you cannot change it, or you can only add. So that's what they were telling you. So now we say now to access this set, right? This EMP, right? So now we are calling what? EMP, the name. Then we are using what? The dot, because he explained how to use the method now. So we are using what? The dot add. It's not coming from me. See where it's coming from. Are you seeing dot what? Dot add. This is the method. So we are calling this our variable that we declared. This set. We are coming to a new line and saying this set, right? So now, yeah, we are working with employee, and we say employee emp dot what? Dot add method. Are you seeing? Now the dot add method is empty now. Nothing is inside now. So this method is telling us add what? Add any value inside here to where? This set emp. So now if we come here to add a value now, you put your string, then you put what is the value. I can create a new person and say Daniel. There's no Daniel here, take note. So now if we print emp, automatically Daniel gets added to the list. So Daniel has been added to that list. It's not magic. Let me see if anyone has any question. Okay, so no question for this thing. Can I move on? Okay.
Move on, move on.
So also to add sets, to add item from another set into the current set, we use what? We use the update. Remember when I was telling you, I said if we add multiple, like what constructor do, if you add multiple constructors, but let's not talk much on constructors. If we add multiple sets, many sets, which we are going to be dealing with. Here now they had what? This set, which had this item that carry what? Fruit, apple, banana, cherry. They had tropical. We should just create our own, right? So now they had what? Tropical, which has pineapple, mango, and banana. So to add a what? To add an item from another set, which is this set, tropical, which is this set, into the current set. This was the current set, right? Into the current set, we use what? We use the update method. Take note, it's not capital letter, it must be the same way they gave you like this, small letter. So we use the update method. So now to access it, we start what? The first set, this set. This set dot what? The same way, dot update. Update what? What are you updating? The second set. You don't need to put it in a string. So let's work with it here. Remember when we stopped here? So now we are saying emp employee dot what? Dot update, right? Remember, you cannot go and do something like this, so it will not run. This is capital letter. Are you seeing it? So everything must be the same way they give you update. So update what? What are we updating? So now if you take notes, I've not created the second set. So we can just create the second set and say employee 2 is equal to what? Let's just create a random employee and say Mary, John, and let's say KK. So now EMP, we are working with what? We are calling what? See it here. You can also go back and read it back. We are calling what? The first set, right? Which is this guy. This dot what? We are now using this the first value, right? This is the first variable we created, EMP. EMP dot update. Update what? We are saying update the second set, which is what? EMP2. Take note. So now, if we want to print, now what are we printing now? That's the major question. Now, is this first set that we are updating? Remember, is this first set we want to add this second set, these people inside this company? Imagine we have two companies, so we want to add this company inside this company. So now we are printing what? EMP. EMP by automatically this code now, EMP dot update. It has updated this company, these employees inside where? This company, which is EMP here. So now we are going to print what? EMP, which is the first variable we declared. So if we click on run, automatically this guy becomes added to the first employee. So take it's now start with Martins, Mary, Moses, Sherry, KK. So it has been added to this employee. So now what if we want to add? Okay, I thought there was a question. So what if we wanted to add this employee, right? This is not the employee we want to add, it's this employee. We want to add these people. This company came to our company. We want to add these people to this company. How do we do it? So now we'll now say EMP2, right? Dot update function, right? Which company we want to put this company inside this company. So we are saying what? Which company are we using now? EMP, right? So now we are calling what? EMP2.
Yeah.
So practically by default, this company, yes, this company now is added where? To this company. So if you click on run, so it has added to that company. Take note, this company now, this first company is adding to this company. What just happened now? Everything inside here has been copied by default and added inside here. That's what we did now. That's what happened. That's what just happened now. So I will move on. Okay, so it said add any iterable. The object in the update method does not have to be a set. It can be iterable object, tuples, list, or dictionaries. Okay, remember what I told you. So now it's telling us that it's not compulsory for it to be a set. Are you saying it's not compulsory for these guys to be a set? It can also be a list. Remember, he has taught you list, arrays. So it can also be a list of what? Of all these guys. So this is a list. So if you do the same thing, it will still give us our value. So it has been added as KK, Moses, Martins, and Sherry. So it can also be what? A dictionary. When we come to dictionary, you understand, but it can also be, take note that you can also update a list. Please, this is very important. You might see a data set that contain what? Array. This is array, right? Which is a list. A data set that contain array. Then we can also see a data set that have what? Set. And they are telling us add array data sets and sets together. So you know that if you are working with sets, you can also use updates to what? Add a array, a list of sets and what? A set together. It still works. So that is what this iterable stuff is. So I quickly move how to remove a set. So to remove, as you hear the word remove now, when you throw something in dustbin, you are telling your dustbin man, come and throw this dirty away. So that's how remove is. Come remove this thing. So that's how remove function work. So to remove an item in a set, we use two type of method. We use the remove. Take note to is small letter. The moment you make one small big capital letter, e no go work oh. So we use the remove method or what? The discard method. So me, I just dey cram remove. It's only remove I know how to do. Anything discard, I don't really bother. Depend if you can master it oh, fine. So we use the either remove or discard method. So now in our set here of employees, let's remove one guy that we don't need. In employee now, we have one stubborn worker which is giving us time or he stole something from the company. This is employee two, right? So now he stole something from the company. We say remove what? What is the name of the person we want to remove? Let's remove
Mary.
Mary. Exactly. So if you click on run, automatically Mary go disappear. So when you load KK and John, Mary is out of the company already. So when you see KK and John have been removed. Also, we can also replace here with what? You say discard, Abi. So
Yes.
discard. But me, I only cram remove because I don't really like to. There are many methods. Oh, you say the object has no attribute. I did it purposely. Oh. What? It has no attribute called discard. You say, did you mean discard? You see a typo that I wrote. I did it purposely so you can see the error that you are supposed to. You will have those errors every day. So it's telling you, do you mean discard? Because discard is the correct Python method. So it's DIS. I did not put S here. So it will not run at all. So if we go and put S here, come here and put S discard, and we click on run, Mary has removed. So that's how it works. So remember your spellings and typo. Any small errors, it will not respond to you. Okay, somebody's raising up their hand. Let me check.
Yes. Yes, I'm the one.
Okay, please ask.
Okay. No, not a question anyway. I just wanted to be sure that Mrs. Abigail is in class and she's following and
Okay.
understanding. Miss Abigail, I believe you are understanding everything because the instructor is doing a very wonderful job.
Yes, I'm
Thank you.
in class and I'm following. Thank you.
Okay. So just to also add before he continues, every code he's running there, you can run the same code on the Google Colab as we were using before. Don't be confused of the fact that he's using a different ID. It's just basically the same thing.
Oh.
The same way you can run
O-
it on Google Colab, you have the same. So we
Okay,
can
sir. All right.
continue.
Oh, I'm really sorry for not using Google Colab. I'm
No,
really
no
sorry.
problem, no
Yeah.
problem, no problem. I just wanted
Okay.
to
Yeah.
explain it so that she's not confused.
Yes. So it works the
Mm.
same way. It's the terminal
Yeah,
too.
yes.
So as you can see, you either use the remove or what? The discard. So I think that's that for that. So if an item remove does not exist, discard will not raise an error. So you just have to pick one. So let's work with pop. You also use pop method to remove an item, but this method will remove a random item. So you cannot be sure what item that gets removed. Mhm. Sorry to say, oh, like Moses that works with backend, we work with backend. I know he does backend then with my SQL. As a data analyst, be prepared to work with database. Database, the only thing we know. I will just say, let me just say, we don't even know at all, but we know is pop. That was the only thing we're used to in database. Pop. That's how we remove item. And by mistake, you use pop. Oh my god, you don't even know the item, the person name. They say remove, for example, remove employee Martins now, and you go and use pop. use .pop. Oh, you just wipe the company entire data. You have caused damage to that company. I'm telling you, it has happened many times. You have caused big damage to that company. The entire data will just disappear by mistake because you don't know the pop does not even know it. It's a method to remove an item. But this method will remove a random item. You can go and remove the MD of the company, and you have caused damage to yourself. Oh. MD will say, "My name, I'm logging in. I cannot find my name." all is data. All his data in name, oh, all the files he saved in that database, every single thing we delete. If by mistake this random item it picks the manager of that company, so you cannot be sure what item that gets removed using the pop item. So to work with the pop item, as you can see here, the return value of pop method is the removed item. Let's see what they did. So in case you are going back to go and check on your own, as you can see here, we had apple, right? And banana, and we have cherry. Now they are testing what they are doing here. They are testing to say, let's remove the item. Let's use pop and test what will happen to pop. They were very stubborn and say, let's do pop now. Let's see what will happen. So here, let's forget this line first. Let's forget this line. If we run, see what will happen. Automatically it removed cherry and banana from that database. It just removed those people name. The same thing that will happen to this our employee. If we use pop, we don't know which worker is going out. It might wipe the full worker, or it might leave one worker and wipe the rest. So we don't know which item is going. So yeah, what did they do? They declared a variable. They were just declaring variable, fancy thing. You can also do something like this and it will still run. This the pop item. So if we call what this set, it will run this set. So if we call this set, it will pop. So it has pop what? Oh, now he even left. He left 2 employees and removed 1, which is banana. So the same thing. So you see, so you can do something like this. The same thing still works, but it was just making it look neat. So what they did here was the same thing. Like it just gave a variable. Me, I can do delete emp. Remember employee. I this a variable emp. So let me come here so that you don't get confused. emp. So I can say delete what? Delete emp, right? Dot pop, right? So now delete emp, I have to call what? Okay, delete emp function variable. Sorry, I declare a variable delete emp. I will now say it's equals to emp2 emp. Let me just call it emp. Emp dot pop, right? So I've popped it. This is the value. So I'm saying this variable should carry what? This value here, which is emp, this variable dot, and we know what this method is doing, what? Wiping. Only God know, we don't know what it will wipe. So now to print this thing, we have to call what? This variable, not this variable. If we call this variable, it will display only all these items. So to delete this, we created a variable called delete emp, and we gave it a value emp. That's this guy, emp dot what? Dot pop. So delete. So if we to print now, we say dlemp. That's this guy. That's what we are calling here. So when we call it inside here and we click on run, let's see which employee gets kicked out from our company. So see, it kicked out everybody and left what? Only John. KK has gone, Mary has gone, only John that is left in our company. So let me see if there's any confusion or anybody have any question. Okay, no question. So that's what that does. Yeah. Remember, it's still telling us take note to set are unordered. So when using pop method, you do not know which item gets removed, like I explained to you. You will not know which item gets removed. If you go and use this thing by mistake, you will wipe the whole, you will cause, in fact, you will cause your company a big mess. Then take note here, because when I was creating this variable, I called DEL. Please don't use DEL. DEL is a special, just know that DEL, this DEL is a special Python thing that automatically by default it just deletes things. So when you are creating your variable, be careful. There are some words you don't use. That's why I call DEL.DLEMP. So DEL by default, it deletes something.